नमस्ते, हमेशा खुश रहिए. This is JVN Dr. Trivedi giving to you a lecture on disaster risk management in India. Now, the disaster risk management plan has a main three components. The first is hazard risk and vulnerability assessment. The second is the mitigation plan that includes the prevention, preparedness, and sustainable development. The third is the response plan, in which there is emergency coordination and relief management. At the state and district level, the same structure is followed. Now, for assessing the risk and the disaster, we have the National Disaster Management Authority. The National Disaster Management Authority, or the NDMA, is headed by the Prime Minister of India, is the apex body for disaster management in India. The setting up of NDA and the creation of enabling the environment for institutional mechanisms at the state and district level is mandated by the Disaster Management Act 2005. The NDMA is headed by the Prime Minister of India. The state disaster management authorities is headed by the respective chief ministers of the state. Now, the planning process as such is carried out down to the subdivisional block and village level. At each village, there is a multi-hazard prone district will have a disaster management plan. The disaster management committee which draws up the plan consists of elected representatives at the village level, local authorities, and government functionaries. The disaster management plan should be addressing on the same issues. A disaster management plan focuses on the hazard, the risk, vulnerability, and resource assessment to improve the level of response following a calamity on one hand and provides insight to link it with the development initiatives on the other. The district administration is the focal point for implementation of all the government plan and activities. Therefore, planning at the district level is crucial for the efficient management for all disasters. Now, the National Center for Disaster Management is there, and it was set up under the Department of Agriculture and Cooperation, Ministry of Agriculture in March 1995. Now, this has been fully upgraded in 2003 to National Institute of Disaster Management. Under the Disaster Management Act, this institute is entrusted with the nodal national responsibility for human resource development, capacity building, training, research, documentation, and policy advocacy in the field of disaster management. The National Institute of Disaster Management, or also called as NIDM, fulfills its mission to make a disaster resilient India by promoting and developing a culture of prevention and preparedness at all levels. Both as a national center and as a national institute, the NIDM performs a crucial role in bringing the disaster risk reduction to the forefront of the national agenda of our country. It is a belief that the disaster reduction is possible only through the promotion of a culture of prevention which involves all stakeholders. They work with the strategic partnerships with various ministries and departments of the state, central, state, and local government through academic, research, and technical organizations in India and abroad, and other bilateral and multilateral agencies. They have different policies for disaster risk reduction, and some of them are National Environment Policy 2006, National Disaster Management Policy 2009, National Forest Policy, National Agriculture Policy, national land use policy, etc. At the national level, the action plan on climate change is, has been declared. At state level, they come up with the state environmental policy, the disaster management policy for the state level as well as for climate change. But there is a need for the emphasis on the climate change adaptation and disaster management convergence with overall environmental planning and sustainable development framework and approach towards integrated district planning. And this is only possible with the inputs of the regional as well as strategic environmental assessment of, of that place. So students, I hope you have you have liked my lecture. If you have any query, please comment in the comment section. I will resolve it soon. This session was powered by digital version 2.0 of Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. Thank you and namaste.